We're going to start looking at this box 3 or box C here and try to implement this image here and this very pretty, I know, with our old school and much power, much wow. And it's really kind of simple once you get to know how to use this. Back to our Visual Code, and we need to go to our box C down here where we have our 3. We need to start filling out new things. So looking at our image here, we have at least 2 boxes, so one containing the image here and one containing the header and the paragraph. And this, if you haven't spotted it, you can see it's not completely level, it actually tilts a little bit, or skews, I can't remember which word it is. So we're going to use clip path as well. In our box C, we're going to create 2 more blocks, so do use your image, so create box _C_1, and or you can do this. Where did it go? There we go. And we want 2 of those. So box _ $$ times 2. So we get this. In this one, the first one, we don't actually need to do anything because we're using CSS to implement an image. But in our box 2, we're going to use an header 1 where we have old school formal 1. And after this we have a paragraph where it says you can add whatever you want if you want to change it. Much wow. So go to your browser test, and oh, so pretty, so very pretty. So we basically have our CSS, our HTML for this, and we're going to use CSS for the rest of this. In the stuff I uploaded for you in the zip file or on the GitHub, there are 2 images, and we're going to use those right now. Well, at least one of them. But locate this area where you have your box C, the last one, and make some room because we're going to use this area here to start styling this. So do a box _C_ what was it, 1 for the first one, and just copy this so we have with 1 for 2. In the first one, that was the image, so we need to have the image up here with the old Formula 1 car. We need to use background, image, and use your URL, use these double apostrophes, make sure you end it with your semicolon, and inside here we need to, if we just look at our structure in our Finder here, if I can go to the right one, start working, and here I need to copy these images, but here I have images inside this folder called old formula and Aston Martin, and we're going to use the old formula. So I'm just going to copy this so I know it works. Which one is it? Here we go. So I am going to tell it because the current starting point for my CSS file is in this folder, and there's no image folder here. So I need to go one back, go into images and locate these. So to go one back, 2 dots, and then images, and then old, I even forgot the name right now. I'm just going to make sure I do it right. So copy all of this and paste it in. So let's just quickly see if this works first. So save, update, refresh, nothing happens, probably because I made some error somewhere. We'll fix that in a moment. Next thing we need to tell the system is we need it to don't repeat itself, so we only want the image to be shown once. And background size, we also want that, so we want it to cover, so it's not removing any weird things. And we want it to have a height, and I tested this of course, so I know I'm going to be used 70% height. So it was the height that was missing, so that's the reason why it wasn't showing. As you can see now, the image of this flying Formula 1 car is now being put in. We have our Formula 1 below it, and we're kind of getting closer to this, but we need this to be up, going over here, and you can see it's also doing a overlap. That's the next part of what we're going to fix, and also making a white background. So again, you can see we don't really use display grid for this because we could, but there's no reason because this is so, we're now down to the small levels, so it's easy to just move them around compared to each other. In box C_2, we're going to just quickly do a box sizing, so we make sure if we're using padding that we don't push around things. So box, border box, yay, add a background color, add the white, Going to give it a width to make sure it goes from edges to edges. 100%. We're using a height. The remaining place would kind of be 30, right? Because we use 70 up here. But because we want them to be overlapping, we can cheat the system by telling it to be 40. Kind of cool and easy. We also want this to be using a position here. So we're going to be using position absolute to make sure that it's doing what we want it to do. So kind of a little bit detaching it from the design and still not detaching. We're going to tell it to be assigned to bottom bottom 0, which is down here. So this is bottom 0. But if I do this right now, I'm going to see, and this, oh bollocks, it went outside the box. This is one of the issues this is one of the, I would count it issues with using position absolute, because we can remove it from the rest of the design. But we can actually make this box here have its position compared to this here. So this would be 0, 0, and this would be 0 bottom. Compared to right now, it's doing 0, 0 from up here, and this is 0, 0 for it right now. How we can do this is just by telling the box C that it's inside. So box C here, that's inside this one. We can tell this here, where did it go, box C, to use a position called relative. So everything inside this box, so these two elements, will have its relative 0, 0, so top 0, left 0, to be that one. Sorry. Up here, so this is 0, 0 for box C, instead of having it to 0, 0 up here. So we can actually force it to be inside this. So once I refresh, it goes in here. And now they're overlapping each other. Next part, quickly, before we make everything at the time go bye-bye, we do clip path. And since I'm super lazy, I already opened clip path up here. And I'm going to do that, and do this, and do, I think it's the right way, so about 10%, yay, on me, copy, and paste this in. So clip path, polygon, creating the ankles, and totally winning. We do some padding to make our text. I'll wait with that so we can actually see what it does right now. So click save, go to your here and test. So now you can see it kind of skewed it, but it's overwriting this, so we can actually see this text. We could do a set index to put it on top, but we can also just move it down, because that also looks more pretty. And we're going to move it down 40 from the top, 10, 10, oops, remember the pixels, and 10. So 10 top, right, bottom, left. Cool, save, totally winning. And if we look at this, we're almost getting this, but this has sort of a grayish color, as you can still see the car. So we're just going to add a opacity to this, and we're going to use 0.8. And remember, do not use a comma here. That's the European Danish way, some other countries' way, but in the American English way, they use a dot to separate like this. Save at 8, and then we get this. So whoop-de-doo, we're almost done with this pretty new gridded page.